Anna, how many fights do you have right now total?
Up to 40? I
Up to
cannot
40.
remember.
Wow.
46.
46.
Wow. 46, and you're only
19.
19 years old. Anna, out of those 46 fights, how many best friends have you fought? Have you fought other best friends before?
This is my second time. I have one fight with my friend, same. But I don't know who what I fight before because it's a small promotion.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah. That fight, I don't know I have fight, and I just finished training and they call me, hey, you have fight, why you don't come to the ring?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah, just go.
Wow.
Rush time, 15 minutes.
Wow.
I didn't wrap my hair, I just wear gloves and go.
No
Wow.
way. You
Oh
didn't,
my goodness.
Wow.
that is crazy.
And how did you feel doing that? Were you excited, like, oh my, or nervous, scared, anything you feel, or just, okay, I fight, that's it, let's go?
Yes.
Yeah?
And when I at the ring, I saw, oh, this is my friend. What?
No way.
And the first round, I just like kick like a
Right?
like sparring,
Oh.
and they say, why you don't like that or something, and then okay, kick hard, and she kick harder and do normal fight.
Okay.
Because if I just do sparring, คนดูคืออะไร
The audience.
Yeah, the audience gonna be like,
Okay,
It's unreal.
okay. Oh, that's not real, okay.
It's an awful disease. It's one that's degenerative, and so there is no cure, and it just gets worse. It's progressive.
Yeah.
That was one of the contributing factors to what, the stress, and it continues to be, and it will be. It was my professional life, but also, my father was living with me for many years, and just as that awful disease progresses, the caretaker, and it's not just the physical of it, but the emotional side of
I
it
can only
too,
imagine.
because it tests your patience and it's not his fault. Like it changes. For anyone that has that, it's a cognitive decline, whether it's their memory loss, short-term memory loss, so then those that they're interacting with constantly repeating themselves, but it's also the inability, you're losing the inability to logically understand your sense of reality is completely different. So I could see how it's also a very lonely disease, because for one that has it, like, you think that is reality, but then everybody else is telling you something different.
Wow.
So that's the struggle, and it was emotional for me, my family, my siblings to see. Okay, we know Dad. Like, we knew what his personality was. He was like a very kind of like stern man growing up. It was like, a lot of discipline, and, we had, like, just a little side fact, we had white carpet growing up as little kids, and it stayed white.
Wow.
And, that's how...
White carpet?
White carpet. I mean, that's just white carpet. And
I didn't even know that
stayed
existed.
white.
Wow.
Right? Because, like, everything was clean. It was, like, disciplined. And to know that he had that type of a personality, very diligent, hard worker, like hot tempered, like very, and that just kind of gets a little bit more heightened, and that's hard to deal with, like, because then you're on the receiving end of that and the temper, and it's that emotional struggle, like, it's not him, but it's kind of him, but then it's also, but when you're the target of it, that gets really hard, but then it's like this struggle. But, just all the needs that come with that as well.
Yeah.
But I think that was part of also coming here. And to your point, Crew, about when you said, when you come here, you're greeted, you're a big deal, because, everyone is.
Yeah.
I would even take it as far as to say, like, it's not just the staff or the coaches, it's everybody else that needs to make sure that other fellow members are feeling included, are feeling special, having those relationships, like if you see somebody sitting at a bag just, by themselves, and I'm not saying everyone's like chipper and wants to chat all the time, and I think that's where I need to be a little bit more
Can I just be honest without cutting you off? So just
even though you are
we
cutting me
have
off?
this thing where we have this thing where, like, you ever seen a football play where you're like, all right, who are you gonna give the ball to? We always look at the camera. We're like, Christina's here. Okay, guys, do you remember to take it to Christine and everything? You know why? Because You are that perfect avatar that like just are just kind, caring, will take people under their wing, under your wing and everything, and guide them. And it's like you said, not everybody's like that. You know what I mean? Majority of our members are, but there's just some energy about you that everybody's just wow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't even have to tell you much. We're like, Christine, such and such. Okay, bye. And you take over. You know?
Yeah. How do you balance 10 jobs, training at the gym, and then also, how do you like incorporate now another person that also has a life? How do you incorporate that into your schedule? Has that been a challenge for you? Because I mean, you're up just like us, 4 a.m. You're getting off work quite late, and then you still make time to come, and then you still got to make time for this individual too. How has that been adjusting?
You know, to be quite honest with you, luckily, it really wasn't hard. Even from the beginning. I think it's because we had similar schedules, right? And then we like to do the same stuff, like even with working out, gym, anything like that, you know? And that was very important for both of us.
Do you like Muay Thai? Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just like, that's cool. Same thing. I'm just curious.
Wow.
I don't know what you meant. Like hospital, I don't know. I'm just asking.
Okay. But yeah, so I think it just kind of like nicely worked out that way. So it was very like the understanding was already there. So it was like kind of easy to, you know, to just understand each other. And again, like I say, like it's so much easier when you actually find another person who's just like not so needy, I guess you want to say, because it's like they just have to respect like you know what you're doing, and it's just supporting each other. Really, it is what it is. You know, it's like you just support each other's growth, and if you have that understanding, then you really just can't be selfish and just, you know.
Do you think in your life, because you're such a strong woman, do you think, have you seen men that are intimidated, like to try to like date you and things like that, just for the simple fact of, you know what I mean? Like obviously your personality, but just your complete lifestyle, like.
Absolutely. Like, I think that's probably one of the reasons why that, you know, like I wasn't dating for a little bit or anything like that. I think it's because, like, you know, a lot of guys could be intimidated because they're like, oh my God, well, you don't even have time for me. Like, you have like 20 jobs and do, you know, stuff like that. And like when they find out like exactly what I do professionally, they're like, oh my gosh. Like, and then they talk to me and they're like, oh, you know, I don't know, but.
Do they talk to you like that? My man. Yeah.
Probably those are not the best guys. They got Tourette's. I don't know. Tourette's. Shit, dude. I'm like, I don't know where you're finding these guys. I was like,
God. This is like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We might not edit it.
I'm totally like mocking them.
Oh man.
Gosh, I'm sweating now. But no, yeah, like I think a lot of guys do get intimidated just with my lifestyle, period. But so
they just don't understand.
They
right?
don't understand.
They
or
don't
they
understand your mindset.
Growing up and seeing my mom be in an abusive relationship was with my biological dad was definitely hard, because it's crazy because people ask me about my childhood and I couldn't tell you anything. Like I remember like moments where my mom was getting beat, you know, but I don't remember like going to a playground, you know, or anything like that. But I know we would always leave, and my dad would always find us and we would go back, you know. And when she finally met my stepdad, we left, you know, and I call my stepdad my dad because he raised me. So when we moved to Virginia, when we moved from Virginia to California, it was like a complete like 360. We finally got away from my dad. You know, she was finally able to build a relationship with my stepdad, and I don't know. She's just always like gone forward. Is my mom perfect? No. Me and her, we have our ups and our downs, you know. More recently, she's made decisions, and she had to be deported to, not deported, she wasn't deported, she left to Honduras, you know, and that I was freshly out of high school. I was 18 when she left. And people think like, oh, well, that's great. You were 18. She left you with your own apartment. Like, you had a car. Like, that's so awesome. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. Like, I just had gotten out of high school. I had just was learning how to be an adult. Like, I had all these responsibilities on me where I didn't know how to navigate it, you know? So, and I had so much freedom that, like, I fell into things that, like, had no benefit to me. I worked in a dispensary. And in that dispensary, I partied. I drank all the time. I smoked every day. Like, I felt like I could, like, I smoked weed. Like, I was dependent on it, you know? Like, everything I did, I had to smoke weed. I had to be high. I had to drink because I felt like I couldn't have fun without it. Like, I felt like, I just felt like, in a way, like, it made me a better person. Like, I was more social. Like, I, you know? And, so when she left, it just allowed me to go into this deep rabbit hole of, like, just bad habits, you know? And I fell into my rabbit hole. It was when I got the job here with you guys, and you guys took me under your wing and started mentoring me and kind of, like, molding me a little bit more. And that's when I started, like, okay, I need to change. You know, me and my mom, we've reconciled our, like, relationship since then. And my ultimate goal is to bring her home, you know, and that's what drives me. I've spent a lot of money, like, on attorneys, you know, to try and bring her home. Unfortunately, it didn't work out this time, but I still have that in me where it's like, it didn't work out this time, but we're going to figure out another way. And I guess, like, just my ultimate, like, why is to show not only my mom, but my family that, like, hey, like, we're meant for more. Like, there's more to life out there, and, like, we can do it the right way. Like, we don't have to be, like, shy. We don't have to do things the wrong way. And I get emotional over my older brother because he's all I have, you know? It's me and it's him. And it's my stepdad too, but I look out for him like he's my younger brother because he's just so, I feel like, just so vulnerable, so, like, he's just too nice for his own good, and, like, sometimes I'm just like, I just want to shake him and be like, wake up, like, let's go, like, get some grit, like, life is not easy, like, this world is gonna eat you up and spit you back out, and nobody's gonna be there to pick you up. So it's like, it just scares me. So, like, right now he's in France, and I'm like, don't talk to strangers. You know? Like, but that's ultimately my why, is my little family, you know. It's just my mom, and who's in Honduras, and here all I have is my brother and my stepdad. It's just us four.
I wanted to touch bases into, like, what happened to you. You know, I think it's been, I don't know how long ago it was, but you had an injury.
Almost 2 months.
It's been 2 months.
Time passes so fast.
It was quite very I don't know the word to use, but, like, it was serious. A serious event that happened to you, and I'll let you speak on that. But not only that, I didn't even know it was just only 2 months ago. It felt like it was
probably about 3 months ago that it happened.
And it came out of
I've been back
nowhere.
for, like,
I feel like you left that day, you were fine.
Yeah.
You dive a little bit more into, like, what happened and the details on that.
I mean, the way it started is I just started getting some crazy headaches, right? And I'm used to headaches. I've been getting migraines since I was a kid, you know, so, like, it is what it is. And that's what I thought it was at first. The only thing that kind of felt different is I hadn't had one of those in a long time since I changed my diet, like several years ago. But all of a sudden I just started getting these crazy wild headaches that felt like migraines at first. And they just started getting worse and worse and worse until one day at work, it was probably like maybe 9:30, 10 in the morning, not even through the whole day. And, like, I just fell to my knee, dude, because that's how bad the pain was. And it came out of nowhere like a wave. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I can't. Like, I got to go to the emergency room or something, get this checked out, because no way. Like, I can't even focus right now, let alone, like, work and stuff. And then I'm over here having pain like this. Nah. So it's something serious, you know. So I took off And I asked for them to do like a CT scan and stuff like that just to make sure everything's all right, because like my head is just pounding. And so they put me in, they scanned me, and then not even 5 minutes passes like after I leave the CT scanning room, that the guy who like looks at the radiologist, he right away came up to me and he's like, "You need to go to the emergency room now. You have a lot of blood in your head. Like, you need to go now." And I was like, "What?" So I mean, what am I gonna do? Like, okay, I guess. Like, I was just going with the flow, right? And everyone was kind of tripping out that I was like so calm about it. But what am I gonna do? Stress out, you know? Yeah. So they admitted me. I go in, and then my family comes in. Everyone's tripping out, and that was the worst part, dude. That was the worst part of it all. Like the pain and all that. Like the recovery. The worst part was seeing the look on everyone's faces, like everyone worried, you know, and that was the hard part. But anyways, they took me in, right? Surgery, it was like 2 a.m. They took me in. What had happened is there was like a big subdural hematoma inside my head, and it was like a bunch of blood collecting and pushing my brain to one side of my skull. And my brain had already shifted over like 1.5 millimeters to one side. And that's what was causing the crazy headaches, is my brain was just getting squeezed. So they cut my skull, right? And then they sucked the blood out. And then they stitched it back. Well, they stapled it back up, put it back together. I got a plate in here and stuff. And then I'm waking up, and I'm just like, "Hey, Christian," like my nurse or whatever at the time. I was like, "What's up, Christian?" Everyone was like tripping, like, "Oh my God, like, how do you even remember his name?" Like, usually people have a hard time coming back to, like, after this surgery, right? Because it's brain surgery, it's a craniotomy. And so I was just like, "What's up? What's going on?" They take me to my room, and then, dude, I look at my face. My face is like beat up because of what they were doing. My eye is like all swollen. I got the staples on my head. I'm like, dang, like Frankenstein. But after that, it was just a long hospital stay, like a week. I was in the hospital just trying to recover. And there was another procedure that they were supposed to do, which is like an embolization. So where I started bleeding, they wanted to go in and like burn it to cauterize it so it doesn't happen again, right? And in the middle of that, they had to stop because apparently a nerve from my eye was like too close to where they needed to burn it. So if they would burn it, there was a chance that I could go blind in my right eye. And so he stopped, and I was like, "I'd rather keep my vision, dude. Thank you. That's fine. I'll just take it easy, you know?" And after that, it was maybe another 2 days, and then I got out of the hospital. Mm-hmm. After then, it was like a month and a half of recovery. But they told me, like, they were tripping out when I showed up. At first, they were like, "How are you even, like, how did you drove here?" I was like, "Yeah, I drove here. Like, I drove myself." Like, and then they were like, "How did you, someone with this much blood in their head should be in a coma," they told me. Wow. Yeah, insane. Dude. I was like, "What?" And they're like, "You drove here? You went to work today? What are you doing?" Like, "No, you can't." I was like, "Well, how the hell am I supposed to know? I didn't know that. And that's why I'm here." You know what I mean? And then usually people need like a good amount of physical therapy, speech therapy. Sometimes like there's memory loss. And thankfully, bro, like I'm good. Like none of that. I was able to get out of my bed, walk around. Like even my nurses were like tripping. Like like I'm happy to say that, you know what I mean? It's not even me boasting or bragging. No way, dude. I would not want to go through that again. But the fact that I was able to bounce back so well, like, man, I'm so happy and grateful for that.
I fell into a really, really deep depression. It was anxiety, depression, everything, man. Like, I would have I would call to the psychiatrist because they had me calling and talking to them, and like low key, dude, like they would be like, are you suicidal? And then I would say no, but deep down in my head, dude, like it's like yeah, you know. And then they were giving me so many pills that like I didn't know what I was taking anymore. Like I would be like, hey, dude, the pills aren't working anymore, and these guys would be like, oh, just umped up the volume, you know. So it was like I was getting lost, and then my mom would be like, because I would have mood swings, so my mom would be like, dude, like you're just staring at the TV and you're not doing anything, you know. And then I remember I got to a point where I was like, dude, I don't want to take this. Like, I don't want to take this anymore either. Like, you finish it off or what, you know? So I remember getting all the pills and I just flushed them down the toilet. Like, I was like, I don't want to take them anymore, you know? And I kind of went through, because I got addicted, you know? I went through, I didn't go to, I didn't go to, how do you call it? Rehab. I didn't go to rehab. I did everything by myself. My mom was the one helping me. So I remember going to the store, and then, like, we're here at the store. Store's, like, wide open, and I'm just feeling everything closing on me, you know? And I'm like, I can't take it. I got to go out. I was constantly in the ER. I would go to the ER. They would be like, dude, are you taking your pills? Yeah. I didn't have them anymore, but I'll be like, yeah. And then they'll be like, all right. Like, worst thing ever was spending Thanksgiving, like, spending all that, like, weekend in the ER because I was, like, out of it. And then little by little, like, I remember posting something on Instagram, and then one of my friends, you know, like, Robert Brown, like, I knew him since back in the day, but we had, like, not grown apart because we would still be like, yo, happy birthday and this and that, but we wouldn't kick it. And then I was like, I forgot what I posted, but he hits me up, hey, dude, come to my gym. And I was like, your gym? He was like, yeah, dude, just come to my gym. Trust me, you this and that. And I was like, all right. Like, I was like, I had gained so much weight that, you know, like, my cardio wasn't there. I remember going hiking with one of my friends that wanted to distract me. We went to the old Melody Park. Yeah. That first hill, dude, I just did that first hill and I wanted to go back. I was like about to pass out. And then my cardio wasn't there. I was 232, almost 233 pounds. And like, I'm like, well, what's your gym? You know, what do they do? And he's like, well, it's Muay Thai. And I'm like, dude, what the hell's Muay Thai? You know, he's like, dude, trust me, you'll like it. And I was like, at the beginning, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go try it. So I got to that point where I was like, I was lost, you know, like I was like going into a deep black hole. And I was like, you know what? I was like, screw it, I'm gonna give it a try. So I came here. I remember walking in and like, I didn't even ask for the trial class. Like I just walked in and I was like, how much is it for like, if I want to come off 5 days? I think Jen was the one that helped me out. And she told me the price and I was like, all right, here's my credit card, charge me. And then she was like, you sure? I was like, yeah, just charge me. And at the same time, that was for me because I was like, if I pay for it monthly or like class or whatever, I know I'm gonna have a way out because I'm gonna be like, dude, like, say within that first month, I'm gonna be like, nah, you know what, screw this, I'm not gonna go again or whatever. And then for me, it was like, all right, I'm putting the money down for the whole year. That's gonna keep me liable that if I'm not going, I'm losing my own money, you know? And then I was like, the more I can go, the better. I'm taking advantage of the situation. So that's how I started coming here. Like, I would come here Monday through Friday. I would actually come to the 5 a.m. classes because my homie Robert was like, dude, come to the 7:15. I'm always there. But at the same time, like, he knew, with the way he knew me, I wasn't that person anymore. So I guess I didn't want him to see me that way. So I was like, all right, let me try to get myself into shape, and then I'll start showing up with you and it's like try to train with you, you know?
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
Crazy.
And
David, you
Yes,
have
sir.
I think 4 fights now.
No. This will be the 6th.
This will be the 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gonna be the 6th.
no
one.
street fights. We're talking about the ring ones.
No. Talk about the ring, man.
Let's revisit your first fight, your mindset for that, right? To the mindset now going into the fight. Can you share with the people like the difference in mindset going into the first fight, now going into the next fight? And you actually fight in 1 week, like a week from today. So can you share that mindset difference, that shift that you
Definitely.
made?
The first fight, I was a little nervous because, we're getting into a fight. It's not no boxing fight. This is a Muay Thai fight. There's a lot to watch out for. One mistake could be catastrophic, So, but being fully aware of what I was getting myself into, I just had the confidence being under Crew Neil that I got this. But I was super nervous. I remember I was just being a lot real quiet in the back room and just trying to think to myself all the technique that we went over. And I knew I was gonna get into a fight. I just really felt holy crap, this is gonna be for reals. And I feel like this guy is gonna bring it, which he did. And we went at it all 3 rounds. And in the beginning I was a little scared. Versus now I don't even, I'm not really tripping on that. I'm I already know I'm gonna get into a fight. I already know what to expect. And I'm just gonna go in there full confidence, like always. I remember my technique, remember my game plan, give a crap about his. We're gonna go in there and smash this dude 3 rounds. That's that's the mindset I have now versus the first time where I'm oh crap, I remember the technique, but shoot, can I really do this? Can I really pull it off? Now I'm just dude, all I just gotta do is outbox this dude all 3 rounds, kick his ass, and I'll win,
That's right.
So that's my mindset now. I'm going into this one, I'm a week out, and I'm going to this one is just make my weight, to do the interviews, and next day make my walk to the ring, hop in there, kick ass all 3 rounds. That's all I gotta do. That's the mindset now. So I'm way more comfortable than I was the first fight.
Are you still nervous a little bit though? Do you have some butterflies?
Definitely. You're getting into a fight for real. We're gonna beat the crap out of each other. It's not everybody always thinks it's real easy. It's a sparring match, and I mean, it is, but it's for real though. Every punch, every kick, knee, elbow, I'm throwing with at least for myself, I'm throwing with intention to hurt you. I'm really trying to knock you out. It's not a joke. I'm in there handling business, and then, outside of the ring, me and that dude could be friends and, grab a bite to eat, whatever. But in that ring, dude, we're no friends. There's no shaking hands. We touch gloves when we touch gloves, and then, I'm out to get you.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because what David's talking about too, you can't teach that. You know what I mean? David naturally has that instinctively, and that's something I've always loved about him, that you're always going to be nervous, right? Regardless of at the most professional level, regardless if you don't see it, they're all in the back dressing room with nerves. We're human, but that's what keeps us sharp, as long as we use it to our advantage. But that mindset, that type of, you can't teach that. David has the most heart, period. You know what I mean? And he shows it when he fights. David, talking about that heart, I want to go back to the fight in Long Beach, right?
Yeah.
In Long Beach, we didn't get the desired outcome that we wanted, right?
Yeah, right.
Looking back at that fight, we all felt that you won it. Right, we had the promoter coming up to us.
Yeah, right.
All the audience members came up to us. They were like, "Man, David, you should have won." I don't understand.
That was actually the coolest part.
Right?
Complete strangers walking up to me, telling me I won that fight. So.
Absolutely. Now, going back to that fight, what did you learn from that experience?
I learned to not waste my time like how I did. That one really let me know that once I'm in there, I have to really get after it. Do not step on the brake, all gas. Just go and get him. Because the last fight, I went in there with the mindset, I'm going to outbox this dude, but I'm going to knock him out. And that's where I made my mistake, because I was thinking to myself, I'm going to knock him out. And I was trying to time him. And we're considered amateur fighters still, so it's 2-minute rounds. So that's where I made my mistake, because time flies when you're in there, man. And I'm trying to, tag him. I'm trying to really, really get it down to where he make a mistake, and then I'm gonna catch him, and that didn't happen for me. And I think that was my downfall right there, and I lost the fight because of that. And this time around, I'm going in there with, I'm gonna just whoop his ass all 3 rounds. No matter what it is, I'm just gonna go in there, kick ass, all gas, no brakes, and that's just what's gonna happen. And I'm really confident that this time around we'll get the dub.
A lot of people don't understand, right? Is working out is a lifestyle. It's a non-negotiable. We have to do it, right? What are some advice you could give some other people that maybe are kind of sitting in that same boat as you? They're getting attacked by family members and friends that are saying, "Well, you don't mess with me no more." what are some advice you could give to people that are listening to this podcast to help them like not get guilted into hanging out into their old habits, into hanging out with certain crowds again because they felt guilted into doing it? What would be some advice you could give someone?
My best advice would be, first you have to figure out your why. Like, why are you doing this? Why do you want to work out? Why do you want to train Muay Thai? And then once you figure out your why, and if your why is powerful enough, then you can just cut everybody else out, because at the end of the day, it's your life.
That's right.
It's your goals that you're trying to accomplish, because you do that, you're not going to get closer to your goals. So you got to learn how to put yourself first. That's the number one thing I had to learn, was putting myself first. Once I figured out my why, or then my purpose and stuff like that, then everything else became a little bit easier.
I love that, Ray. I love that.
Did you feel guilty when you would reject people and put your priorities first? Was it a guilt?
All the time.
Did you have a guilt, and do you still have a guilt?
Till this day. I was just, like Cruz was saying, this was a recent conversation. I was asking, like, how do I feel? Like, how do I manage this? Like, you know, making, especially like my family, like you don't want to put them down, but at the same time, like you're my family, but this is my life. And so I still deal with the guilt, but I pray to God and tell him, like, please help me with this. So it's always going to be a journey. You're always going to be battling. It's not going to be an end to it. So you just got to overcome. So I'm just overcoming. I'm still human. So
definitely something that we've created here at MTK. I honestly confidently know I can say this, but I think we're the only Muay Thai gym that has over 165 plus women like yourself that just train, and they get top-notch training. They get trained like a actual fighter, even though they might never have aspirations of fighting. But you know you're gonna get that great, you know, champion-like technique. You know you're gonna get that awesome workout, but also in an environment that's safe for women, right?
Yeah. And I remember, like, when I was working there, like we would have like girls and like women come in, and like at times I would get to train with them. They would sign up, right? And I would like hop in, I'd keep an eye on them, we'd go train, and I would notice like they're just like and I would tell them, like, dude, like, hit the pad, like,
leave Kim alone, okay? Leave Kim alone, all right?
She's got
all right, stop, okay?
It's a noble thing here.
Leave my Kim alone, okay?
No, but I'm like talking like even like girls like, I don't know if you guys can cut this out, but like Belen, for example. Belen and Alvin are a couple and they train, right? And Alvin goes hard, like every single time. Belen, when she first signed up, I noticed she would be like, like those, like, and now if you look at her, like, I would tell her, like, dude, just hit the pad, like, hit it as hard as you can. Who pissed you off? What made you mad? What's making you angry? What do you hate? Think of that and just hit it as hard as you can. Get it out, it's gone. And then I've, like, been watching her, and, like, she's solid now. Like, she throws those kicks, she throws those punches, and that to me is, like, also why I came back, is, like, that self-empowerment. No, it's not just for women, it's like men too. Like, I've seen men come in, they're like so insecure, so unconfident, and it's like now you look at them and they've grown into these like amazing people that can beat the crap out of you, or like can come in negative mindset and they leave and they're like, all right, I'm good now, I can like keep going on with my day. So I think that's just like a big part of like why I don't even know where this is going, but yeah.
No, that's really good. That's really good. And Shey, to ask you this, so we all go through this, and we hear it from everybody, right? It's been about a year that you've been doing Muay Thai, more or less?
6 months.
6 months?
So I started working, I got hired October 5th.
Okay.
And then I took my first class like 3 weeks after that. So I've been training for about 5 months. 6 months.
Okay. Wow. So it's been a lot of changes that we've seen you in 6 months, right?
Yeah.
How has that changed you, like not so much physically, but mentally and spiritually of how you are? Because we all go through our ups and downs, and life beats us up outside of work and outside our personal life. How's that changed you, Muay Thai, and like training and everything, and the environment and the culture and your friends that you made in the community?
Yeah. It's funny. People like meet me and they're like, you're so positive, you're so bubbly, you're so energetic. And it's like, I am. But I mean, you guys that work with me closely, like even Crew would be like, you need to stop being like a negative Nancy. And it's true, like sometimes when I get myself like in that mindset of being negative, like it's so hard for myself to just get myself out, because it's like, it almost feels like I kind of like hop back into this bubble, like back in Oregon. Because I just like experienced so much back there that I'm like, all right, cool. Like again, like I can't get out of it. Like it's just gonna happen again. And like, there's been times where you guys have said like, dude, it's all in your mindset. Like if you keep thinking like this, nothing's gonna change, right? And then I've had David tell me too, like you need to like pull yourself out of that, because no one's gonna save you. So I think that's one of the things that's really like kind of woken me up, and again like bubbled those pots, is like, do I want to be this person, or like do I want to make myself better? And by no means am I like close to where I visualize it. Like even like this past week, like I've had a couple incidents where I was just like so down, like in the dumps, but then like I showed up to Muay Thai and I was like, all right, fuck it, like I just got to get it out, like kick this. And like Cruz says, like every day is a good day. And that's one thing that he told me that I clung on to that like for my life. And I was like, every day is a good day. Absolutely. And even moments where I'm like, fuck, like should I just move back to Oregon? Like should I just like whatever, like my dad could use my help, like my mom could use my help. It's that like me reminding myself like every day is a good day. And it doesn't matter where you are, here, South Korea, that's Oregon, right. Japan, like if your mindset is like shit, it's gonna be the same everywhere. So I think that's one of the things that like really like kind of woke me up, and I was like, all right, shoot, like I'm, you know, now I just turned 26, so I'm 26. Do I want to keep doing this over and over and over and over again, or do I want to like change the path? It's like the train railroad is like halfway like between moving, and I'm like shifting it. It's also taught me like a lot of discipline. I've realized I had no discipline. I thought I did, but it was by no means like, was I disciplined? It was like, all right, well, you know, I had a hard day, whatever. Or like, that's, whatever. This situation happened to me, I'm just gonna fuck it, you know, whatever. And I'm realized like, you can't whatever life. Like, you don't know how much time you have. You don't know what's gonna be given or taken, or like, you could win the lottery next week, or you could like lose your house. So fuck it. It's like, you just have to keep yourself like disciplined and keep yourself in that mindset. And I think like you guys have been like two of my biggest inspirations for that, because it's like I watch your guys' podcast, like I've seen that stuff, and I'm like, all right, cool, like if these dudes can get themselves like out of this like place, why can't I? Absolutely. Like if David can like pull himself out of all the shit he went through, and now he's the champ and he pushes himself every single day, why can't I? Like I'm just as capable of like anyone else. So I think that's what's really like shifted in me, and like has like kind of woken me up, and I want to be that example for my brother and my sister, because I've been like watching them from afar, and I'm like, shit, like the mindset I had is what I taught them. So now I'm like, no, like you have to push yourself, you have to keep doing that. And they'll like be like, Shey, like you're so annoying, like, ooh, you think you're like living this life? And I'm like, no, dude, but like that's what it is. Like either you convince yourself that everything's gonna get better, so that when things go bad you can be like, yes, it's gonna keep working, or you can stay where you are and like keep repeating the cycle. Like you're just adding links to this chain, you know, and the chain's just weighing you down. Absolutely. So I think, yeah, that's what's kind of like changed in me, and like, again, the pots are bubbling.
I remember I was actually getting ready for my first amateur boxing match, and I went and did a smoker. Went to another gym, was going with this kid, and I don't know how it happened. I still to this day, I'm trying to like put myself in that situation, how it happened. I threw a left hook at the kid, and he uppercut the bottom of my elbow. My shoulder went up, jerked up, and it sounded like a bunch of tree branches broke next to my ear. But I, for the life of me, couldn't pick my arm up. For like 2 months, like all I could raise it was like up to here. Wow, damn. Yeah, so in those days, like I was like, I can't use my arm, let me kick. In those days, I didn't really do elbows or knees. I was just strictly kickboxing, yeah. But I actually started getting more into Muay Thai when I joined UFC. To be a coach in the UFC gym, you have to get this specialized cert, like a specific for the UFC gym. And when I was over there, like I felt that, I know for a fact that I had the best hands in there. But I was looking at everyone was throwing elbows and knees and stuff, and I was like, oh damn, I don't know how to do that. Yeah. So I was like, okay, done. Today I'm learning everything. Wow. So the gym I trained in had Muay Thai classes. Okay. And I just started joining the classes. Okay.
Okay. Well, shout out to your gym that helped you gain those the knowledge.
Shout out to that guy that hit your arm like that.
Oh no, he shattered it. It honestly took like about 6 years until it fully came back to normal. That being said, I didn't like go get it checked up or anything. I was just like winging it, like whatever. Like I would go to the gym and fight southpaw. Even now, like I don't know if you noticed me sparring, I'll just stand in southpaw and not even know I do it. But that's why I do it. I couldn't use my left. I couldn't use my left, so I'll just stand in southpaw.
Is there any times that you are doing certain things that you feel weird?
I do feel it, but I don't know if it's in my head. Like, because honestly, my shoulder's as strong as it's ever been. Like, I honestly even feel like I'm blessed that it happened, because it got me into like corrective fitness, and I started like I was one of the first kids like, what is wrong with my shoulder on Google, and then slowly through that, I feel like that's what ultimately led me to be a personal trainer. Like I actually went and got my personal training cert, got certified, went to school for it and everything. So honestly, on top of that, like it just made me really focused on making my body indestructible. Like that day, because I'm not gonna lie to you, that broke my confidence so much. Like before my shoulder shattered, I thought I was the best fighter alive. Like I didn't think there was anyone that could beat me. That happened and I was like, oh, complete opposite shift. I'm like, now I can't do anything. Great.
What brought you to MTK?
Yeah. So I was 13. I used to go to this middle school, actually. It's called Fulton. Super not the nicest place. They used to set the trash cans on fire.
Wow.
There was like rumbles against race like every Friday.
Wow.
I think they would like send each other messages like, hey, we're going to meet up at this time. Because it was so consistent.
Okay.
Sounds like 2023 now.
Seriously. But yeah, so one day I was made fun of a lot. And because I was never really with the trends, my mom was super strict back in the day. So she still is. But she would, I wouldn't shave my legs when everybody would shave their legs. So they used to call me like Chewbacca and things like that. So it was like, yeah, it was bad. And then because I had freckles, they used to call me like, I don't know if we're allowed to say this, but like the shit face and things like that.
Jeez.
So
Shit face?
like shark face, things like that.
Oh, shark face.
Yeah.
Shark face or shit face?
Shark.
Oh, shark. I was like, damn, shit face? I was like, all right.
No,
And can you explain to the people that maybe don't know what a shart is? Can you explain what a shart is? No. People are curious.
I'm like, no.
Somebody's down there. They're like, actually, I would like to know, buddy.
I think we're getting some
No,
comments
honestly,
typed
I
up
don't
right
even
now.
know. Like you said, shark. Like is in a shark?
No.
Shark?
Like when you fart and then shit comes out.
There we go. I'm telling you, you just help many people out in this world right now with that explanation.
Short
clip.
Wow.
Short clip.
You know there's gonna be people using that shit on their friends who have freckles and shit like that. Be like, shark face, what's up? I learned that and Muay Thai Saved Me.
So bunny rabbit. So I actually got jumped in the restroom by, it was like 5 girls. They were waiting for me. And I got home and then my brother saw me, Diego, which actually used to train with you before. And he saw me with a busted lip, was crying. My nose was bleeding. And he basically was like, he talked to my mom. We got into training. And yeah, that's how I started going. And I was super shy back in the day. I was like really shy. I came in and it was like a bunch of guys sweating, shirtless. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I getting into? But yeah.
I want to go back to, you getting jumped by 5 girls. How did you feel at that moment? Because I knew you when you were 13 and you were like the sweetest girl ever. Like, how did that make you feel at that moment? All of a sudden, someone sucker punches you, then you got like 5 people hitting you. How did you feel at that moment?
I blanked out.
You blanked out?
Yeah. I don't remember much of what happened. I just kind of blanked out.
Do you remember fighting back at all? Or were you just more you just don't remember?
No. Because the only thing I remember is I came in and the 2 girls were like talking smack to me. And I was just like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then one of the girls just grabbed me from the back and pulled and I just kind of fell back. And after that, I don't remember.
Do you remember? Did they ever tell you like how to stop? Who found you? Anything like that?
No, it was as soon as like I knew the girls that did it, and I was just like too scared to like, hey, like these are the things that happened or anything, because I remember like at the end they were just like, if you say anything, we're gonna get you again, and I was like,
it just sounds like a prison movie, dude.
I was like, I'm good.
Let's go find him now.
Yeah, let's get him on the podcast.
No, listen, funny story. They actually, one of the girls went to the gym and brought her daughter. And I was just like looking at her like this, like, oh my God. And I remember I told her, I was like, it's one of them.
So I was just stressed and I was like, I need to like just release all of this in a healthy way. So I was thinking boxing, but I have no upper body strength. So I'm like, okay, maybe I should do something with my legs. So I was like, okay, kickboxing. And then I've known Susie for a while. I've had her on Instagram for a while and she would always tag the gym. So I followed you guys, but I'm like, okay, I'll go one day. And I'm like, okay, next week, and then next week. And then you actually messaged me and you were like, oh, come try class. and I've been there ever since.
Wow, look at that. Now, what was share with people like what was going on in your mind when you're like, I want to release this stress, or I'm stressed. But what were you hesitant about when you found us and you're following us and you're like, oh, this gym looks cool, like I'm gonna go in. What was happening? Why you didn't come in? Why did it take a while?
I think it was just like the anxiety of like going somewhere new, you don't know anyone, like especially I didn't know the sport or anything about it. Like it was just like a lot to process. I was like, oh, I'll do it next time, and I just kept pushing it back.
And then you said that I reached out to you. What made you? What was it that I said, or you're like, you know what? Okay, let me do it now. He messaged me, he welcomed me. Like, what was it that was that switch in your mind? Like, all right, I'm gonna do it now.
I feel like it kind of just gave me a little push, and then I was telling my friend about it, Bree. She joined with me, and she was like, yeah, I'll do it with you. And honestly, if she didn't, I probably would have like not shown up. But she ended up leaving. It wasn't like her thing, but I fell in love with it. So I've been there ever since.
That is true. For those of you guys that don't know Jasmine, like, she's the sweetest girl ever. But yeah, I remember your first day. It was just a lot of overthinking, pausing, freezing, and then come now, she's like every day, multiple classes. It's a standard, right? Jasmine always does at least 2 classes a day. If she does less, I think something's wrong.
I have a question. What did your parents think when they started hearing that you were going to do Muay Thai and such a
My mom was kind of like hesitant. She's like, you're going to break your face, you're going to get hit, you're going to like break your nose. I'm like, no one's going to hit me in the face, because that was before I went to sparring. And my cousin, he's a professional boxer. My other cousin does MMA. So she said the same thing with them. She's like, they're just gonna get hurt, they're dumb, like, just overprotective mom. Like,
I see.
Yeah. I see. But she loves it now, because, she always told me, she's like, you need to exercise, you need to work out, it'll make you happier. Yeah. And she was right. Don't tell her I said this, but she was right.
And do you believe that to be true now? I know you said you were going through a lot of anxiety and things like that at that time when you were looking for like an outlet. Do you find that your everyday coming and training and everything has helped you with that?
Oh, definitely. I could be in the worst mood ever, and as soon as I walk in through the doors, it's like, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong. The world just stops.
I want to talk about your mindset and how I don't think you realize, but you're very athletic naturally, and you might not have felt that your technique was that good, but you picked this up very fast. And for people that don't know you, you started coming only twice a week.
Yep.
And then I forgot how long you did twice a week for, but then all of a sudden you told me one day, you're like, Crew, I'm gonna upgrade to the unlimited package. I wanna come more. And I was like, yeah. I remember giving you a high five and I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
And for someone of your age to go from that to unlimited classes, then from unlimited classes to, you know what, I want to go spar. And man, I sucked, but then I want to get better. What was it about you that made you think that? Because you're not even, at that point, you're not even 16 yet. You're not 16 yet. You're younger than that. Mm-hmm. That is an incredible thought in your mind that nobody taught you. You just had that from within. So I wanted to like make sure we touch base on that. Like, what was it about Gianna that was what? Were you
14.
14 at that time. You're 14 years old at the time, and you're like, man, I suck at sparring. I gotta get better. Like, what was that? How did that happen?
Well, I think it was the fact that that first day at sparring, I felt like, okay, I was considering fighting. And then after you gave me the whole speech, I was like, okay, well, if he wants me to stay consistent, and if this is something that I'm thinking about doing, the only way for me to really figure out if I want to do it is to keep going and keep doing it, And then eventually it got to a point where I really liked sparring. Like, I fell in love with it, and I loved training, and training was like my favorite part of my day, and it still is. It's my favorite part of my day. Like, that's what I look forward to. Oh, I'm gonna go train today. That's awesome. So, yeah, it was just the fact that I kind of wanted to prove to you that I wanted to get better at the sport and that I wanted to learn the technique so that I could potentially, hopefully, be a fighter someday.
Yeah. I think with a lot of people in my position, like that's a head trainer at a gym, I think any trainer that's listening to this right now will agree, like, you get backstabbed all the time. You invest, as a good coach, you invest everything into fighters, into students, because if you're a good teacher, you genuinely want to see people get better, not only in Muay Thai, but just in life. You just want to be that, you know, if I can help this person, and you're, at the end of the day, you'll give your all to people at the end of the day to get stabbed in the back. I've been stabbed in the back so many times throughout the years. But one thing that I love about myself is I've never let that change who I am as a person. I will continue to still be the same Crew Neil that will give his all to his members, you know, and just people who are around, because I genuinely like helping people. It's just generally who I am, and I think that's what will set us apart from the other people, is just, and what will continue to attract better people. You know what I mean? We can continue to help people, and that's what I love. And I love that we do this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, every week we have a new episode coming out. Just, we all agree, if this episode or any other episode we've done, if it can touch one person, it was so worth it.
Yeah. And can I just, I actually will defend the backstabber, because, and I've said this before, or I don't even think they're bad. I just think they're people, individuals who don't know how to move on and cope, and really, realistically, how to speak to somebody. The easiest way to have a breakup with anybody is what? In a fight. Doing something that's easy to be like, well, fuck you then, or whatever it is. It is really like, if I was just tired of you, let's just take for example, and I wanted to break up with you, it'd probably be more difficult for me to be like, hey, let's sit down. You know what? This isn't working out. I want to move on. Like, a lot of people don't know how to do that conflict. It's very rare for people to do that, by the way. It's easier to be like, what the fuck? I hate that shirt, or this and that, or your hair, or blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, no, I'm not breaking up with you. I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
I thought red was my color.
But listen, it's not, you know, but I'm just saying, no. But I'm just saying, it is very scary for people to talk to people like that.
Yeah.
It is very scary
communicate
for people
like
to
an
quit their
adult?
job and be like, hey, I'm not happy here. I'm moving on. It's better, like, to start an argument, to do something that wraps something up, because it's easier to be like, I'm done now.
Yeah.
It's easy. Unfortunately, that's how most people are. It's just people have never been taught that, and it's very hard, and it's very, I mean, me and Neil have had conversations where we have disagreements, and I say, hey, we need to work on this, or this is not going to work. Those are hard conversations that I've had with him. I don't want to do our business to break up, but I also understand, like, if this doesn't change, like, it's not worth it for us to be business partners. Yes or no? Have we had them? It made you feel like shit, because it made me feel like shit. Like, it's an uncomfortable situation, but it takes, if you really want it to work, or you care about that person, you're gonna have that hard conversation. You have to have that hard conversation. And people are cowards, and they'll rather fight and start up some shit and just leave than to be like, hey, you know what? I thank you for everything. I appreciate everything. This no longer is working out. We've had them multiple times, and guess what? We got over it, and we continue to go, and we move on, and we worked on the things, because we're not perfect. He's not a perfect human. I'm not a perfect human. We fuck up in business all the time, but we look at it and we say, this is gonna be a problem, and it's gonna cause us friction for me and you, because I'm already feeling it. That's a really hard conversation for people to have, and it's easier to fight with somebody, start something up, than it is to just lay it out and just be like, hey. Because I'm telling you right now, I would rather somebody come up to me and be like, hey, you know what? I'm not happy. This is it. I want to move on. Like, what do you say to somebody? Oh, I hate for you to being honest with me. Like, how are you mad with? Yeah, it might hurt you a little bit, but long term, like, you see somebody and you're just like, hey, what's up, man? I hope you're well.
Yeah.
It's very hard for people to do that. I'm telling you, I've learned that in my years. Like, if you pay attention to people who break up with you, they'll normally start something up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's very true. That's a very true fact.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's why when we created our core values, it's family, loyalty, experience. That's our core values for the company, and we did it based off of the mirroring of what our members represent.
Yeah.
Under those pillars, what is there? I always, when I'm training somebody, I always go through the pillars, and I'm like, it says communicate. It says communicate under one of the pillars. What that means to us is that we are a company and a team that is willing to grow, change, and adapt as the seasons come, you know? And as things change and we move with time and everything, we're not, like you said, we're not perfect. And we understand we're not perfect, so we're open to change. But if we don't know that something's wrong, like, how do we fix it? You know, that's what I always tell my team, communicate. Like, let's rumble. Like, you tell me if I said something you don't like, or I'll tell you if you're doing something that I don't like, you know? And we might not always agree.
And what's great about that is that's ultimately any relationship, right?
In any circumstance.
In anything.
In any circumstance, communication is the solid core that will allow any relationship to blossom. Because if there's no communication, there's no, hey, this made me feel a certain way, or, you know, I don't like it when you do this. There's no, it's just gonna bottle up, and eventually you explode. And then, like you said, the easiest thing for people to break up is just explosion. And but all that was built up from things that weren't said out loud to the other person. You know what I mean? So
death by 1,000 paper cuts, like they say. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's hard for most people. I think we've all had that experience at some point or another in our lives. But if you try it and you're honest with somebody when you no longer want something, it's like for them, it's such a shock for you to be so straight up that they just don't know how to respond. I've done it like when I left like a company, like either like a telephone company or switched over, and I'll just be like, you know what, I'm just not happy with the prices. I got this better. Like you'll be surprised how people on the other line are just kind of like, okay, you know, like they don't know what to say. Just try it. Try it.
I agree. You grow through what you go through, and I think everything we went through during that small period of time was definitely beneficial. I think our team needed that little shakeup because now we're only stronger and better, and we got so much better people on the team. Like, I feel so strong in our team. But anyways, whatever.
I was really addicted to weed and alcohol, and I was just getting drunk and high every day. And I would just stay home all day. That was pretty much what I did. I worked at some point, but then I quit because I was more focused on doing what I was doing, going out, partying, drunk driving. Well, my friends would be drunk driving and stuff like that. And it got to a point where I was kind of just fed up, but I was so consumed in it all that I just didn't have a way out. I didn't know what to do. And it got to the point where my family was like also like calling out that behavior because addiction runs in my family very heavily. So they were kind of like pinpointing my mom on me. That's something that a lot of people in my family like to use because my mom was an addict as well. So they
an addict in like what substance? What was her vice of choice? Oh
gosh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah, she would do crystal, like heroin and stuff like that. And because of the amount of drugs that she used, it started from when she was very young, I think like 13 years old.
Wow, that is young.
Yeah, my family has been like in that kind of scene, gang activity, drug activity, since very young. My mom was an addict, my dad was a drug dealer. So they kind of had that dynamic. That's how they met. So that's another thing too. I didn't grow up with a mom or a dad.
Who were your caretakers?
Well, I kind of bounced around from my aunts and uncles for a minute. My mom had custody of us twice, me and my siblings. But then the court decided my mom wasn't fit to be a mother anymore. So we were just placed in foster care. And then later on down the line, around like 12 years old, I was adopted by one of my aunts. But that was a journey in itself, a separate journey.
How are things now with you and your aunt? Are you guys on good terms?
We weren't at first, but I guess now we sort of like are. Ever since like one thing we had in common was God. She was a very big Christian, is to this day, but she's kind of one of those Christians that are like, if you wear this, you're going to hell. Kind of like a Mormon or like a Jehovah's Witness or something like that. So recently I came back. I was a born again Christian recently. I started going to church again. Thanks to Edwin and Kim and Jen.
You got baptized last night.
Yes, I got baptized just last night.
Nice.
And it's honestly been really crazy because this whole like period of me being at MTK has been just a huge shift in my life. Like a very big good shift. I'm always telling Kim and Jen like, thank you guys. Like I couldn't like, even though I just started training consistently in Muay Thai, like just the art of it and just the gym in general has changed me as a person.
One of the things like I liked about the sport, again, like coming from a guy that watched some MMA and boxing, I just enjoyed, like you're saying, the culture and the respect.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things, you know, obviously playing football, you know, guys will jar and chat and all that stuff. But in football, I still think there's a respect. But in MMA and boxing, there's no respect for your opponents. It's, you know, they always have those pre-shows and the weigh-ins, and there's always a fight in the weigh-in, and they're always talking trash. And it's like that's part of the game somehow where but there's no respect whatsoever. And then you see the Muay Thai thing, and everybody is like, respectful. Like we're battling, we battle in the ring, but after that it's like boom, boom. You know, and you even hanging around like after the fight, like everybody, hey man, how'd you do today? Like even the opponents, like, hey man, good fight, man. Hey, good luck with your next fight. Let me know how you do. Like, it's just it's a different culture, and it's like it's so nice to see competition, but then at the end of the day, hey, we're friends, we're cool.
Good
sportsmanship.
One thing I love, it's the only combat sport you will find that both fighters will touch gloves after the round is over. After they've just been beating each other up, they'll touch gloves every round. You don't see that in many combat sports. I don't see it at all, to be honest, except in Muay Thai. That's the love and respect that you'll see, and you'll sometimes see they'll hit each other with a good shot, they'll acknowledge it, and they'll high five like that was a good one, and they'll continue fighting again. That level of respect is like unfound.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of the things that stood out to me the most.
What would you say, Paul, to somebody who has never done this, or is doing other stuff, and has never heard of it, or sees your video for the first time, and just kind of like you do about trying Muay Thai and kind of integrating into their lifestyle?
For someone, you're saying for someone that's like looking to do something fitness but never heard of? Yeah, I would say definitely come check it out. I think that, again, like the pillars of specifically this gym, because I don't know obviously a lot of other gyms. I know this gym specifically, but you know, we talk about it a lot, but it's community. And you know, they always talk about like when you're done playing football, like what do you miss? And you miss the camaraderie, you miss the locker room stuff, you miss when you're traveling with your teammates and stuff like that, because like I definitely don't miss being in the training room, icing and all that stuff. And even football games, like I don't remember a ton of my football games. I'll remember a couple, but yeah, you miss that time with the team and bonding. And I think this helps recreate that in a different way, in a good way. And so I think, you know, if you're looking for a place to have a community where you're looking for people to work out with and also looking to, you know, grow friends and relationships, this is a great medium and place to do it. Like every time I've trained, like a new person, especially lately, I've seen a lot of new people, and it's like, oh, I've never seen you before. Hey, how's it going? And you meet and you train, and it's like, hey man, like, I don't know, you already have a bond, because we're kind of, you know, blood, sweat, and tears, that whole mentality, right? So it's like you already create a bond right away. It's like, and you're trying to push each other, because we're all here to get better. You know what I mean? Like you don't obviously come here to, like, there's no half-assing it here. You know what I mean? And so like you just create that bond with people when you're here. And again, you get pushing. Like I've never done one of those fitness classes. Because I always just look like, it just doesn't look like my thing. Like, let's go cycling, you know, like, I don't know. It just never seemed like my cup of tea. But that's why I still do the flag football thing, because it's like you still get those moments. And that's just like one of my biggest takeaways from playing sports in general, is that brotherhood and that bond that you make. And so here, I definitely already feel that in that community. You know what I mean? It's like right away, like even Nicole was like right away, like, hey, Nicole, you know, everyone really welcomed her in, and it's just like, you know, nobody does that to me at 24 Hour Fitness. You know what I mean? I go there, nobody says hi. Nobody, I mean, the front desk people do, of course, but
maybe, right? Maybe if they're paying attention.
If they're even there in the front desk. But yeah, nobody like, hey, Paul, how's it going today? Hey, good luck with that work. I mean, you know, it's different. And, you know, maybe it's me getting older, but, you know, when I was in my 20s, I didn't really care about that stuff. But I think, you know, when you get older, you know, that some of that's, it's just little touches that make it extra nice. And that, you know.
But maybe too, it's also just you never experienced it, so you thought that's just how gyms run. But then when you experience something different, you're like, I like this.
This for sure.
Nice. People are greeting me by my first name, asking me how my football game was. Like, where have you been? We haven't seen you. They're kind of like, wow, these people genuinely care. You know, it's different.
I love it.
Yeah. So I think, and again, I think what, on top of all that, it's an insane workout that you will, you know, you burn what, like 1,000 calories. So there's not a lot of high intensity training for that time period where you'll burn that kind of calories. And that's the thing I love the most. Like, I'm a numbers guy. So, you know, the easiest way to sell me is like, well, you know, our guys burn 1,000 calories each class. It's like, oh, all right. You know, you go on one of those rowing or what are those things called? The rowing machines, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you'll go for an hour, and you're lucky if you do 600. You know what I mean? And you think you're going hard, but it's like only 600. Like, I feel like I burned more than this.
Yeah, you're like, that's a cheeseburger.
Yeah, seriously.
So a buddy of mine got a date on Tinder when I first moved out here. His Tinder date was like, "Oh, I'm so sad you guys are moving to DC," and I'm like, "Yo, I'm not going back to DC. I live here now." The Tinder friend was like, "Oh, we should hang out." Da, da, da. She was taking me around, showing me shit, and she took me to this pool party with 3 girls. It was 3 girls and me, and I was like, "Yo, like, which one of y'all like me the most?" And she giggled the hardest. Here we are, 5 years.
That is sick. That is
I was like,
sick.
yo, that was usually one of my pickup lines. Like, I walk up to a big group of women and be like, "Hey, y'all, hey, which one of y'all like me?" And whoever smiles the hardest, that's the one who like you. And you say, "Excuse me, ladies, she'll be back in a second."
That's
and
dope.
that's you. You know,
guys, try that shit out there. On the bottom, let me know how it works out. Let me know who you got engaged to. All that.
It worked. I promise you it worked.
Yeah, that's dope.
It works.
That's dope. And then what did she think about Muay Thai and all that? Has she ever done it before? And how'd you end up bringing her?
She's from Germany. She was born in Germany. Black woman born in Germany. And then she went to like New Jersey. And so her upbringing was completely different than mine. Like, I believe in like guns and fighting and defending yourself, and I believe in all that shit. And to her, she was like appalled, because like she met this dude who's like art school this and drums that and da 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 da. But then was like when she was talking about, I can't believe a gun. I'm like, what you mean you can't believe it? Like, what? We got 4 of them jumps. Like, you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? So.
How does an addict get help? Does he need to want it before anything else? How does that work?
Man, there's like moments of clarity that people in addiction will have. And so like, for a lot of us, it's like if we get locked up and you know you're gonna have fucked up withdrawals. You know what I'm saying? Or like, just a really big crisis hits, it may wake them up out of their delusion, because they're kind of like trapped. Like, you can see his problems, right?
Yeah.
But he can't see his problems right now, right? Because it's literally a chemical imbalance. Like, he can't fathom that he has a problem. Like, he's just worried about getting this, selling this, going to get this. You know, maybe like we're manipulators as addicts, right? Manipulating whoever he has to get his next, whatever his drug choice is. So I think my words of advice would be like, every situation is different, but don't ever enable an addict, okay? It's scary because it's very risky out here in the streets with drugs right now. The drugs are not clean right now, you know? So I work at No Home Recovery, and I work at his place in Woodland Hills called Vanity Wellness Center. It's like, the populations of people I see is so crazy. I mean, I'm counseling people that are 70 years old. I'm counseling people that are 17.
Wow.
You feel me? And I've been doing this since 2019. So it's like, I would never promote enabling drug addiction, you know? And it sucks, like, you might have to cut them off, but there are things you can do to help yourself not get overly stressed about it. Like, you know what Al-Anon is?
No.
So Al-Anon is for people that are dealing with an addict in their family, or maybe it's their romantic partner. And like, I would probably suggest that you like hit a Zoom meeting, like maybe once a month, or like every couple months, just to see like, damn, other people are like having to cut off their like kids, bro. You feel me? And it's like, it hurts, like it sucks, but like, you can get a sense of community from like, it will help you stay strong in your decision making. Because I know it's not the best decision. Like, it's not that easy to cut off your family. Right. You know, and I feel you. But I would probably check out an Al-Anon meeting and just focus on yourself right now. You can't really do anything for him. Right. There's no ultimatums you can give him. This is your brother. Yeah. He's a grown ass man. He's gonna do what he got to do.
Right. But what would you say for when they do ask for help, in the moments where they're like, "Hey, I need help"?
So when they ask for help, that's when you got to drop everything and help them. But as long as it's not like, you have to be very firm and strict, like in your help that you give them. I'm not going to give you money. Like, don't tell me you're clean right now. I'm not going to give you $40. You feel me? It's more like, you're going to a treatment center right now. I'll drop you off. You feel me? And then I will pick up the phone when you call. There needs to be a third party, and that's why I really appreciate my job as a drug counselor, because we are the third parties that can like confirm with the family, like, this person's still in treatment. Okay. You know, like, you feel me? Like, so I would suggest there be a third party involved, and just on some like bro to bro advice, like, bro, if you're not gonna fucking go to treatment, at least hit a meeting, bro. You know what I'm saying? Right. At least go to a meeting. Like, if it's in our neighborhood, like around the MTK, there's some good ass meetings.
Good.
For sure.
If you don't mind, Tyler, you said you were going through a depression. Like, what was happening during? If you don't mind sharing, like, what was happening in your life where you just felt like I need something, to help me get through this?
I mean, like I said, I'm an artist, so I think I feel things a lot. I think a lot. I'm kind of an overthinker, so I've always kind of battled with depression. But my life was going very good, like during the pandemic times, actually. It wasn't really until like the end of 2021 everything started to change. So like. I'm 32 now, so when I hit 30, I started thinking like, what else do I have to offer the world besides being an artist, right? Because that's kind of all I ever thought about was just playing music.
Yeah.
And so I started getting into other things like gardening and stuff like that. And I thought, I kind of want to, because I've been working in audio engineering throughout my 20s, I wanted to go on a different path. So I started looking at new jobs and stuff like that. But things were going really good. I was happy with that process. I was in a really good relationship. I was actually going to move out of the country.
Wow.
I was moving to England.
Oh, shit. Wow.
So I spent the last part of 2021 in England. I was living with my now ex-girlfriend at the time. So I came back here just to visit for the holidays in December. And like 2 days after I got back, my grandpa died. So that was really hard. Then like a month later, she broke up with me. So that was really hard too. So then I wasn't going to England anymore. It was like a whole thing. Man, I was just really struggling. And that year too, we were kind of on again, off again, that whole thing. So really when I joined the gym, that was like the last time her and I FaceTimed. Like I straight up like got off the phone with her and I hit up the gym.
Wow.
I just like came in and I was like, I need something.
Somebody hit me in the face.
Really though, because like, I noticed you were with Wes Watson recently. I'm a fan of his stuff. I like to watch what he says. He really helped me a lot too because I was going through, a lot of stuff. And that concept of like, channeling your pain in the right direction, because it's like you can't get away from your pain. So it's all right, I can either delve into bad habits or I can choose a good habit. So it was like, I've always wanted to learn how to fight. Like I come in with my Batman stuff. I'm always like superheroes and stuff. I'm like, I want to learn how to be a real life superhero. Like self-defense is important. I want to learn how to fight. And so I just jumped in. Like I didn't even take a trial class or anything. I just signed up for the black package and I was like, let's go.
Love it.
Let's do it.
Now, how'd you feel? So you jumped in, you're full throttle, you're like, let's go. This is the time to do it. How'd you feel after your class? Oh, actually, let me ask you, how did you feel during the class or before class, during class, and after class? How'd you feel?
So before class, I was nervous because I'm kind of an introvert, even though I'm a performer, like just in casual interaction, I'm very like quiet to myself. I don't really have like a big personality until I get on stage. So I was a little nervous coming in. Also, I was aware too, like I don't have any fighting experience. I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked. I'm a little nervous with that. I don't know what to expect. During the class, I had a great time. I just loved it. I mean, I was having so much fun, I forgot to drink water that day. But at the end, I was so tired. I realized I didn't drink any water. I'm like dehydrated. But I loved it. I felt great.
That's awesome.
I was ready to come back.